Hi, Colts. It's Mrs. Hladun. It's Sunday evening. It's the Sunday before the last official week of school, which is a pretty exciting time. And I'm here to read for you the one and only Ivan. And I think we're going to finish the book today, which I'm really excited about. When we left off we left off with the book. Ivan and Ruby had gone to the zoo, and Ivan was in this peculiar place where he was watching videos of a family of gorillas, and then all of a sudden he realized the gorillas were in the habitat with him, with a screen between them, and now it seems like maybe he's going to be with the other gorillas, and he's realizing that there's like a female gorilla there that he's really curious about. And that's where we left off. So we're now on this section called Door. And let me mark the end of the book because it's almost here. Oh my goodness, where is it? Here it is. Okay. Here is the end of the book. All right, here we go. Door. Today the humans led me to a door. On the other side, Kinea and the others wait for me. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready to be a silverback. I'm Ivan, just Ivan, only Ivan. I decide it's not a good day to socialize. I'll try again tomorrow. Wondering. All night I lie awake wondering about Ruby. Has she already walked through the door like the one I'm facing? Was she as scared as I am? Scared the way she must have been the day she fell into the hole? I think of Ruby's endless curiosity, of all the questions she loved to ask. Have you ever danced with a tiger, Ivan? Will your fur turn blue? Why doesn't that little boy have a tail? If Ruby were here with me, she'd be asking, what's on the other side of the door, Ivan? Ruby would want to know, and she would have been through that door by now. Ready. Want to try again, Ivan? Maya asks. I think of Ruby, and I tell myself it's time. The door opens. Outside at last. Sky, grass, tree, ant, stick, bird, dirt, cloud, wind, flower, rock, rain, mine, mine, mine. Oops. I sniff, approach, strut a bit, but the others don't welcome me. They have sharp teeth and loud voices. Did I do something wrong? Kinea chases me. She throws a stick at me. She corners me. I know she's testing me to see if I'm a true silverback, one who can protect her family. I cower and hide my eyes. Maya lets me back into my cage. What it was like. I lie awake and try to remember what it was like being a gorilla. How did we move? How did we touch? How did we know who was boss? I try to think past the babies and the motorbikes and the popcorn and the short pants. I try to imagine Ivan as he might have been. Pretending. The juvenile male approaches. He's eyeing my food hungrily. I imagine a different Ivan, my father's son. I grumble and swat and swagger. I beat my chest till the whole world hears. Kinea watches, and do the others. I move toward the youngest upstart, and he retreats, almost as if he believes I'm the silverback I'm pretending to be. Nest. I'm making a nest on the ground. It isn't a true jungle nest. The leaves are inferior and the sticks are brittle. They snap when I weave them into place. The others watch, grunting their disapproval. Too small, too flimsy, an ugly thing to see. But when I climb into that leafy cradle, it's like floating on treetop mist. More TV. Maya wants me to go back into my glass cage. I can tell because she's tempting me towards the door with a trail of tiny marshmallows. I try to ignore her. I don't want to leave the outside. It's a cloudless day, and I found just the right spot for a nap. But I relent when she adds yogurt raisins to the trail. She knows my weaknesses all too well. In the glass cage, the TV is on. It's another nature show, jerky and unfocused. I expect to see gorillas, but none appear. I hear a shrill sound like a toy trumpet. My heart quickens. I rush close to the screen, and there she is, Ruby. She's rolling in a lovely pool of mud with two other young elephants. Another elephant approaches. She towers over Ruby. She strokes Ruby, nudges her, makes soft noises. They stand side by side, just the way Stella and Ruby used to. Their trunks entwine. I see something new in Ruby's eyes, and I know what it is. It's joy. I watch the whole thing, and then Maya plays it again for me and again. At last, she turns off the TV and carries it out of the cage. I put my hand to the glass. Maya looks over. Thank you, I try to say with my eyes. Thank you. It. Kanaya ambles towards me. She taps me on the shoulder and Knuckle runs away. I watch her, arms crossed over my chest. I'm careful not to make a sound. I'm not sure what we're doing. She ambles back, shoves at me, dashes past. And then I realize what's happening. We're playing. We're playing tag, and I'm it. Romance. Make eye contact. Show your form. Strut, grunt, throw a stick, grunt some more, make some moves. Romance is hard work. It looks easy on TV. I'm not sure I'll ever get the hang of it. More about romance. I wish Bob were here. I could use some advice. I try to recall all the romance movies we watched together. I remember the talking, the hugging, the face licking. I'm not very good at this, but it's fun trying. Grooming. Is there anything sweeter than the touch of another as she pulls a dead bug from your fur? Talk. Gorillas aren't chatty like humans, prone to gossip and bad jokes, but now and again we swap a story under the sun. One day it's my turn. I tell my troop about Mac and Ruby and Bob and Stella and Julia and George, about my mother and father and sister. When I'm done, they look away silent. Kanaya moves closer. Her shoulder brushes mine, and we let the sun soak into our fur together. The top of the hill. I've explored every nook and cranny of this place except for a hill at the far end where workers have been repairing a wall. They're finally gone. They have left behind fresh white brick and a mound of black dirt. While the others laze in the morning sun, I want to explore the hilltop. They've been there before, and I have not. Everything is still fresh to my eyes. I take my time going uphill, savoring the feel of the grass on my knuckles. The breeze carries the shouts of children and the drowsy hum of bumblebees. Near the top of the hill is a low-limbed tree, the kind my sister would have loved. The wall is endless, clean and white, stretching far down to the habitats beyond my own. It's high and wide, carefully built to keep us in and others out. This is, after all, still a cage. It rained last night, and the pile of dirt is soft to the touch. I scoop up a handful and breathe in the loamy smell. It's a rich brown color, heavy and cool in my palm, and the wall waits like an endless blank billboard. What do you think he's going to do? Do you have any predictions? Okay, this chapter is called The Wall. It's a big wall, but it's a big pile of dirt, and I'm a big artist. I slap handfuls of mud on the warm cement. I make a handprint. I tap my nose with a muddy finger. I make a nose print. I slide my palms up and down. The mud is thick and hard to use, but I keep moving and scooping and spreading. I don't know what I'm making, and I don't care. I make swoops and swirls and thick lines, figures and shapes, light and shadow. I'm an artist at work. When I'm done, I step back to admire my work, but it's a large canvas, and I'd like to get a better view. I go to the thick-limbed tree and grab the lowest branch. I try to swing my legs. I land hard. I'm too big to climb, I suppose. I try again anyways, and this time I pull myself onto the first limb, gasping for breath. One more limb, two, and I can't go any farther. Perched halfway up in the tree, I see my troop still dozing contentedly. I take in the wall, splattered and splashed with mud. Not much color, but lots of movement. I like it. It feels dreamy and wild, like something Julia might have made. From my seat in the tree, I can see beyond the wall. I see giraffes and hippos. I see deer with legs delicate like twigs. I see a bear snoozing in a hollow log. I see elephants. Safe. She's far away, belly deep in tall grass with others by her side. Ruby. She's here, Stella, I whisper. Ruby's safe, just like I promised. I call to Ruby, but the wind tugs at my words, and I know she'll never hear me. Still, Ruby pauses for a second, her ears spread wide like tiny sails. Then, with a lumbering grace, she moves on through the grass. Silverback. It's a cloudy evening, chilly and drizzly. Dinner is on its way, but I don't care. At night, we sleep in our den, but I'm always the last to head inside. I've been inside long enough. This time of day, there aren't many visitors, just a few stragglers leaning on the wall that separates us. They point, take a couple photos, and then head over to the nearby giraffes. One of the keepers is beckoning. Reluctantly, I turn to go. Out of the corner of my eye, I see someone running. I pause. It's a girl with dark hair lugging a backpack, A man follows behind, racing to catch up. Ivan, the girl yells. Ivan, it's Julia. I scramble to the edge of the wide moat that skirts the wall. Okay, hang on. Somebody just rang my doorbell. Hold on, I'll be right back. Daisy, can you help your dad with the grocery bin? Daisy, stay back. Can you help your dad? Daisy, come on, Daisy. Help your dad. Come on, Daisy. Daisy. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my husband came home with the groceries and he rang the doorbell. Okay, let's finish up. Oh, I lost my page. Okay. Ivan, the girl yells. Ivan, it's Julia. I scramble to the edge of the wide moat that skirts the wall. Julia and George wave to me. I dash back and forth, hooting and grunting, doing a gorilla dance of happiness. Calm down, says a voice. You're behaving like a chimp. I freeze. A tiny, nut-brown, big-eared head pops out of Julia's backpack. Nice place, Bob says. Bob, I say, it's really you, in the flesh. How? Where? I can't seem to find any words. Here's Julia and Bob. George's job at the zoo doesn't start till next month, so he and Julia made an agreement. She's walking 3 extra dogs to cover my food, and get this, they're all poodles. You said you didn't want a home, I say. Yeah, Bob says, but Julia's mom likes my company, so I figure I'm doing everyone a favor. It's a win-win. Julia pushes Bob's head back inside her backpack. You're not supposed to be here, she reminds him. Ivan looks great, doesn't he, Jules? George asks. Stronger, happier even. Julia holds up a little photo, but it's too far away for me to see. It's Ruby, Ivan. She's with other elephants now because of you. I know, I want to tell her. I saw it with my own eyes. We stare across the expanse that separates us. After a while, George pats Julia's arm. It's time to go, Jules. Julia gives a wistful smile. Bye, Ivan. Say hello to your new family. She turns to George. Thank you, Dad. For what? She gestures towards me, for this. They turn to leave. The lamps that light the zoo pathways blink on, blanketing the world with yellow light. I can just make out Bob's little head sticking out of Julia's backpack. You're the one and only Ivan, he calls. I nod and then turn towards my family, my life, my home. Mighty silverback, I whisper. This is a picture of Ivan. He does look like a mighty silverback, doesn't he? He looks strong and brave. And that's the end of the story, friends. That's how it ends. There are some acknowledgments, people that the author wanted to help. And there's actually some bonus material, which maybe I'll read. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I wasn't right. Oh, there might be some bonus material. Oh, there is a sneak peek at the new book called The One and Only Bob, which maybe I'll get that book next. That might be kind of fun. And then there's an author's note, which talks about who Ivan is. So let me read that part real quick. The author's note. The One and Only Ivan is a work of fiction, but the inspiration for this imagined tale lies in a true story. Ivan, a real gorilla, lived at Zoo Atlanta, but on the way to that happy ending, he spent almost 3 decades without seeing another of his own kind. After being captured as an infant in what is now the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ivan's twin sister died en route to the U.S. or shortly thereafter. Ivan was raised in a home until he became unmanageable. At that point, he was added to an odd collection of animals housed at a circus-themed mall in Washington state. Ivan spent 27 years of his life alone in a cage. Over time, as an understanding of primates' needs and behavior grew, public discomfort with Ivan's lonely state grew as well, particularly after he was featured in a National Geographic special entitled The Urban Gorilla. A public outcry followed, including heartfelt letters from children. When the mall where Ivan lived went bankrupt, he was placed on permanent loan to Zoo Atlanta, which houses the largest group of captive western lowland gorillas in the nation. Ivan became a beloved celebrity at Zoo Atlanta, where he lived contentedly with Kinea and other gorillas. He was known for his paintings, which were often signed with his thumbprint. Ivan and Kinea were real gorillas, and so, by the way, was Jambo, whose story Stella tells to Ivan and Bob. But all the other characters and situations in this novel are entirely the product of my imagination. When I started to write About the grim facts of Ivan's solitary existence, a new tale slowly began to take shape, at least on the page where anything's possible. I wanted to give Ivan, even while captive behind the walls of his tiny cage, a voice of his own and a story to tell. I wanted to give him someone to protect and the chance to be the mighty silverback he was always meant to be. And that's it. That's the end of it. I thought that was a really good story. What did you think of it? Did you like it? I thought it was really sweet how we got to really understand how Ivan might have felt given his really unfortunate situation. And I loved how this story had a really happy ending, and that even though Ivan and Stella weren't together anymore, or Ivan and Ruby weren't together anymore, that they were still happy and at peace with their in their new habitat. And that was where they were meant to be if they couldn't be back in the wild. So I do think I might get the One and Only Bob. Maybe we'll read that one next. But I hope you enjoyed the story, and I'm going to try to find that National Geographic video and link it in my on my Facebook page, so that if you want to check that out, you can. At any rate, I hope you have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, friends.